Hi everyone, it's Rax. One more Firebird Wizard right before the season starts. A bunch of my chat was asking, Rax, can you put on a baby wizard and show us what it can really do next season? So this wizard only has 7,000 intelligence. And if that doesn't mean anything to you, this is like weaker than a Paragon 1,000 wizard. And we got our first decent festering and we cleared it no problem. So even at 1,000 Paragon, this was like with about 6 Augs, not using 150 gems. My Bane of the Trap was like level 116, and my Teguk was like level 104. So it was really, truly a simulation of a mediocre Paragon 1,000 wizard can easily take down a 130. This was the first decent festering that I got. So I had to make some changes to play at Paragon 1000 to get this down from the guide that I showed you guys. What we used in the guide was Augild's bracers, and Augild's shoulders, which gives you a lot of damage. The problem is my wizard could not keep its Squirt's necklace up without more survivability. So there are 3 ways that you can get way more survivability, and I chose to implement 2 of them into my wizard to keep my Squirt's buff up almost all the time. It's that stack of 10 that you see right there just above teleport. You want that to be up almost always. The first way is to get rid of Augild's. I put on the Mantle of Channeling that I had cubed, and I put Ashnagars in my bracer slot. That gave me double the potency of my shields. And I didn't even have a good Ashnagars. Mine was only like 87%, so it could have even been better than that. And it was non-ancient. So that's the first thing that you can do. The second thing you can do is drop Obsidian Ring of the Zodiac, that's going to give you less cooldown, and put on a Unity. And if you give a Unity to your Scoundrel, all of a sudden, you're taking 50% less damage. These are the 2 changes that I made. The final change you can make is now that you're wearing Mantle of Channeling, you have a free armor slot. And there are 2 choices. You can either take Aquila, which will give you, again, 50% less damage. I did not do this. Instead, I took Tasker and Theo gloves, which are going to make your mirror images deal more damage. It's the only way to make mirror image attack speed increase. So I took 2 of the 3. I put on Ashnagars, and I put on Unity. But I did not need the Aquila in the cube to keep my Squirts up. So if all that was confusing to you, don't worry. I'll give you a planner. I'll pin it as a comment. If you're a super baby wizard, and you're not going to blast all season, this setup is going to be much tankier for you. It is going to cost you some damage, but look at me go. I did the first decent GR130 that I opened. No problem at all. All right, so for the gameplay, it's the same as always. We spam Explosive Blast all the time. Keep your magic weapon up, which at the end of this, mine's going to fall off, and you're going to notice I completely forgot about it. And I'm going to be sitting there scratching my head, why am I taking so much damage here? And my chat was screaming at me, Rax, turn your magic weapon back on, because that deflection really helps. But I just forgot about it, so don't forget about your magic weapon like I'm going to do later. Teleport is just used to move around. Pretty self-explanatory. And your mirror images you want to summon right before fire, so they deal as much damage as possible. Never ever cast Flame Blades. The only reason we have Flame Blades on our bars is because mirror images cast the skills that are on our bars, and we want them to cast Flame Blades. Because when they use a non-channeling fire skill, which means Disintegrate doesn't work, it needs to be Flame Blades, it triggers our 6-piece bonus, which deals all of our damage along with our Explosive Blast. One thing that a lot of people watching weren't fully grasping about this build is in order to deal maximum damage, you need to be standing still, channeling Disintegrate. So one thing to notice about how I'm playing is I try to not move around too much unless I'm actually moving. If I'm moving around and pulling stuff, then you can move around all you want. Go ahead. But when it's time to DPS, notice how I just stand still and just channel Disintegrate. And whatever happens, happens. That's because when you're channeling it, not only are you keeping your Taeguk up, but you're also keeping your Death Wish up. That is a huge, huge damage increase. Notice how I'm not moving around everywhere when it's time to DPS. I stand still and I channel Disintegrate. And then my chat was asking me, well, Rax, what about dodging stuff? The only things that we dodge are things like frozen. Because if a frozen hits you, you're frozen. You're going to drop your Taeguk, you're going to drop your Death Wish, you're probably going to drop your squirts, and you might just die. You have to dodge frozen. You have to dodge molten explosions, of course. But other than that, you just need to stand there and you need to be able to tank the things to deal the maximum amount of damage possible. I had some wizards come into my chat and say, Rax, my survivability is fine, I'm not dying. That is not the measurement for how tanky your wizard needs to be. The question is, can you stand still in, a reasonable amount of monsters and just channel your Disintegrate without losing your Squirts necklace? If you can keep your Squirts up just standing there firing Disintegrate, then you are tanky enough. Surviving on Firebirds is quite easy. You have infinite teleports, you have a ton of damage reduction. You have to try pretty hard to die on this build. But that is not the measurement for how tanky you need to be, because you being able to stand still and just fire that beam and not move is going to determine how much damage you deal, which is going to, of course, impact how high of a Greater Rift tier you can do. So when you're playing this build, even at low levels, you need to monitor if your Squirts necklace is up. Then the next question becomes, well, Rax, I don't want to do that. Can I get rid of it? You could. You can take Traveler's Pledge and Compass Rose, but that is a worse option. Squirts is better because you're going to lose a ring. When you lose a ring, use one of three things. Use Unity, which is half damage. Use your COE, which is an unforgivable damage loss. You cannot get rid of that. Or you use Obsidian Ring, which is amazing for the extra cooldown on Explosive Blast. So, my advice to you, go with Squirts, put on Ashnagars, put on whatever survivability you need to just stand there and just let the Disintegrates fly. Keep that in mind when you're pushing. Okay, so what happened here? I'm trying to kill the little itty bitty trash. I don't care about the elites. I have a conduit pylon. The conduit pylon is going to kill the elites for me. I just need to kill as much of this little itty bitty trash as possible. Because remember, conduit pylon has a maximum number of targets it can zap at a time. You see the little lightning bolts coming out for me? I mean, it's like impossible to see. There's too many affixes everywhere. But notice how it's not zapping every monster at the same time. It only shoots a limited number of bolts. So if you have 5 million trash mobs, when the bolts hit the trash mobs, even if they die instantly, that's the little zaps that could instead be hitting the elites. So if you instead just kill out all the little trash, it will guarantee that almost all of your conduit zaps will hit the elites and they will die. As we effortlessly get a gigantic, I don't know what, like a pentakill, and look at our bar. Now I can just casually move on forward and wipe away the rest of the map. I mean, we did like 80% of the entire rift in one floor. And from here, it's going to be trivial. We will be able to win no matter what our follow-up is. We have a shield pylon. That's amazing. Shield pylons are so good for Firebirds. First of all, my Squirts necklace is never going to fall off. Haha, monsters, try to take it off now. Also, my Taeguk's never going to fall off, and I'm never going to be crowd controlled. If you get crowd controlled at all, if you get knocked back, if you get vortexed, if you get wormholed, if you get frozen, anything like that, it knocks you out of channeling and it's going to cost you damage. But notice here, I stand perfectly still in the Oculus ring, summoning my mirror images, and I'm never, ever moving. That's why I deal so much damage. One teleport into the Oculus ring, and I just disintegrate. That's it. Get it nice on close to him to get your mirror images to make sure that they're hitting the monsters. And notice how I'm standing by a wall. Mirror images don't have the best AI. I mean, let's be honest, nothing in Diablo 3 has good AI. But if you put them next to a wall, that takes away their opportunity to run away in that direction. And hopefully they'll decide to actually attack. You see how fast I killed those 2 elites? Just with having a shield pylon, guaranteed squirts, and I never had to move, and I never got crowd controlled. I killed those 2 elites in like 30 seconds. So shield pylons are amazing. Back up against the wall and summon the mirror images. That will make it so they don't run away and do dumb things. And we spawn the boss. Notice how I don't have my magic weapon up. I completely forgot to put it back up, and it's a huge part of your survivability. I probably forgot about it. I forgot about it because I had a shield pylon. I'm sure I would have noticed it if I was dropping my squirts. But with a shield pylon, it made me forget to resummon it. But I go by this lamppost again so my mirror images don't run away, and I channel. But look at Arathon now that my magic weapon isn't up. He's going to start cracking me. Bam! He hit me for 70% of my health. There goes my squirts. Ow, Arathon. You have to buy me dinner before you touch me like that. And he procced me. I'm like, man, Arathon must hit really hard. I'm scared of this guy. What I actually tried to do there, I tried to teleport behind my scoundrel, but then I remembered, oh wait, scoundrels just run away. He's more scared of Arathon than I am. Okay, so back to the lamppost. My chat is screaming at me, press 2, press 2, press 2, press 2. But I was so focused and so scared of Arathon that I forgot to look. But eventually I'll figure it out here. But anyway, the strategy is exactly the same. Notice how I'm just not moving at all. But those knockbacks that Arathon does make it so he is not invited to my birthday party. He's no longer invited. There's no birthday cake for him because he's ruining my Death Wish channeling. So I sit here. I still haven't figured out how to activate. Oh, there we go. Nice, dude. Nice. Pro gamer. Took me 2 minutes to figure out to reactivate my magic weapon, so don't do that. Actually, I was just doing that for science. I just wanted to show you guys how important magic weapon was. No, I'm just kidding. I just did that because I'm stupid. But anyway, in the corner here, I'm very happy. Notice how my mirror images aren't running away anymore. I boxed them into a little lamp post and a little wall, and now they understand to attack Arathon. No Bane of the Stricken here. We have Teguk and Trapped for damage, and we take Enforcer, not because it increases our mirror image damage, but just because it keeps them alive. So we go over here in the corner, mirror images before fire. Look at them standing right there, just casting flame blades. It's a beautiful thing to see. Anyway, that's the clear, guys. Everyone can do a GR130 next season. I'm excited for you guys. I'll see you on Friday for the season start.